Should women only be allowed to work 34 hours a week? Let's have a look. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. Today I'd like to talk about an article I read in the Daily Mail. Are women working too hard? Study calls for females to have a shorter working week, I love this one, than men because many are on the brink of dangerous burnout. More women are experiencing dangerous burnouts at work. Mental health is the #1 disease affecting Aussie women in 2018. Experts push for a restructure of traditional working hour limits for women. Women must be fairly compensated for extra care duties, researchers say. Okay, fantastic. For centuries, women have been experts at juggling their relationships, careers, children's health, and home all at once. Yes, let's see. I don't know if it's been for centuries. The weight of maintaining this balancing act, has increased exponentially over the past 2 decades, to the point where more women than ever are reporting feelings of exhaustion and anxiety and depression. Okay, well, what's happened in the past few decades? We've moved from a society where a family could be supported off one income to now where a family can't be. I honestly think we've, through most of history, we've had a little gap here where all the working class had to work, regardless of your gender. Both of them were working. We had a little gap here with the middle class where you could afford to maintain a family and have a high quality of life, buy a house, go on holiday on just one working man's income. But now we're back to the point where you really can't. Even here in Australia, you can't afford to have a family, go on holiday, get a house on one income. It's kind of like maybe this whole getting women to work has kind of screwed us all, because you've got double the amount of people working in families. Wages have stagnated. The cost of everything has gone up because you're selling houses traditionally to family units, and that's how everything's priced. In fact, many are on the brink of a serious burnout. Yeah, and I do not doubt it. A study published by the ANU found that the healthy working week for women should be limited to 34 hours compared to 47 hours for men. Wow, where is the gender equality there? But aren't we all the same? Aren't we all meant to be exactly the same? We're not there's no differences between the genders. It shows you how, the same university that will publish all this other rubbish that goes against reality will admit to it implicitly in this study. These findings reflect that the outside of work hours that women lose to traditional domestic responsibilities and caregiving duties. Okay, so what they're suggesting is because women have these other duties, they want to reduce their work hours. And I wonder how many men are actually doing 47 hours a week, when you factor overtime and extra work and all of that into the mix. However, a randomized survey of 8,000 Aussies found that more than 66% of full-time working adults spent more than 40 hours on the job every week. This means that a huge proportion of women are operating at a consistent disadvantage to their male counterparts. The real-life impact of these findings are concerning in terms of female mental health, warns ANU lead researcher Dr. Hong Din. Long working hours erode mental health and physical health. Yes, that's true, because it leaves less time to eat well and look after oneself properly. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It's true. I know when we've been working excessively, first thing that goes is food. We don't have time. I'll just grab a Macca's for breakfast, or I'll grab some takeaway or some junk, and it's so easy to fall off the healthy eating wagon, and you kill yourself for work, and it's not worth it. Because of the additional demands placed on women, Dr. Din says that it is impossible for women to work the long hours expected by employers unless they compromise their health. Well, I think men are actually compromising their health too, but men are also working these longer hours that are expected by employers, and maybe that could be a reason why there's an earnings gap between the genders. What is the solution? Let's see, this will be interesting. Experts recommend that women should work shorter hours in order to compensate for the unpaid jobs they have to do every single day. In order to achieve gender equality, working hour limits must be lowered. Co-researcher at the ANU, Professor Lyndall Stardins, is deeply concerned about the impact of disproportionate working hours on women's mental health. I think this really has to do with everyone's working hours on our mental health, not just women, men and women. The issue, the fundamental issue is our whole economy is changing, and we're moving more and more away from the traditional roles where you'd have a steady job that you'd go to day in, day out. It's evolving into a gig economy. People are doing their own things, even though the unions and the government are trying to stamp down on some of those. But yeah, we'll see what else they have to say here. If we encourage women to try and attain those hours per week, we're basically confronting them with a trade-off between their health and gender equality. Okay. Okay, I don't understand why you're saying that. That's their choice. That's the thing. They have a choice. If women are going to be working that many hours, 40, 50 hours a week, even if men are going to be working that many hours a week, it's going to affect your health. That's your choice. I think it's not smart, really. I think we need to educate people to kind of plan out their whole life and weigh it up a bit more. Maybe give high school students a copy of 12 Rules. Yadu Shi, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, founder of the executive coaching program Inner Genius, says that women must take care of their health and mindset and prioritize what they want to achieve rather than what is socially expected of them. Okay. See, this is interesting because I read this as thinking, these days, and there's recently an article in The Australian where women are socially expected to get a career and then, have a family, do everything. So you're meant to go use your most fertile years to build up your career, then quickly snap a husband really quick before you hit the wall, and then pump out some kids with IVF and whatever you can when you're reaching the end of your fertility. Rather than going, okay, well, screw that. What if I want to have a family? Make that a priority. Okay, I want to have a career. Maybe do that a bit later. Kind of be smart. I think we need to empower people to go stuff you to this railroads that everyone's laying in front of them, thinking you have to follow that path. You have to have a purpose. Women are brought up trying to constantly improve themselves, and we spend so much time focusing on what we're bad at instead of investing in time in the things. What is that? Only women? Isn't men and women or both trying to improve themselves? In the meantime, Professor Stradins is calling for fair reward for women who are working close to or above 38 hours a working week. Don't they already have that? I don't understand. It's going to be a slow and difficult process because it's major social change, the scientists said. All in favor of 34-hour working week for women. Wow. So this article, I just had to highlight it to you because of what it's saying. It seems, I don't really think it's getting the point across. I mean, sure, mental health, but I wouldn't say it's only a women's issue. Maybe men are better able to deal with this, but I've met men that don't have the mental fortitude to work the long hours. I know I had a footage on my other channel, where my education channel, where I was recording, probably at 1 a.m., some footage of my wife explaining something she'd learned in the CAD software that we'd use, because we'd been working all night for 3 days to put together a presentation. She was 3rd trimester pregnant, and I think I actually deleted that because I watched it and realized how angry she was at me that I was filming her, 1, and 2, that she had to work that late to get a deadline. But it's something that you have to do. And I in some ways I can't relate to this because I'm a small business owner. My wife and I have decided to do our own thing. We run our own business together, and that has given us much greater freedom, but much greater responsibilities as well. And that's what I would be steering my children towards, would be to plan out your life, pick your career so you can be your own boss, so you can have the flexibility to work hard, to work less, to balance your life. Because more and more I think about it, the older I get is, chasing money, 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 chasing promotion, promotion, promotion. It's not the secret to happiness. It's to having control over your own time frame, your own schedule, being able to manage. Okay, I've got that project there. I'll put the extra time in. It's the wrong answer. It's saying they want to regulate working hours, and they're trying to make an argument around that and bring in elements of gender equality, when really it has to do with empowering people to have personal freedom in their employment. And that is where it's heading. That's where it's heading. You're going to have a generation of people that will all be, working from home, that will have their own flexibility. Today I met a young lady at church who has just finished her accounting diploma, which is fantastic because she could work from home. She could choose the hours she wants. She can get her own, be a tax agent and submit bookkeeping for her. I was asking her for a card because everyone needs a good bookkeeper. So I think, sure, 34 hours a week, that's probably a guide to having a healthier balance. But I wonder if you're doing those 47 hours, if you have control of your own time schedule. If you're working late 1 or 2 nights and you do something here and there. So that's my takeaway from it. I think it's all a bit of, they're kind of missing the point here. Work-life balance is something that everyone needs to learn to deal with. Planning your life is something that everyone needs to learn to deal with. And I think our education system really isn't addressing it at all. And a lot of people are suffering for it. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Heise Says. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think. How many of you are working in a large office building, or do you have a boss? How many of you are self-employed? What would you rather, more money or more flexibility? That'd be my question. I'll ask you to fight over in the comments. But guys, I will see you all next time.